Hello, Salamat Sore from Oregon. My name is Mike Hillis, for those of you that don't know me. And I think it's going to be easier for me to speak in English today than Bahasa Indonesia. I'll mix it a little bit, but since English is my native language, that's probably the best way to communicate what I have to say today. So, we're here in Oregon, really beautiful beach. Indonesia is about 8,000 miles this direction over here, and I'm wanted just to be able to share a few thoughts today about what I'm planning to do in Indonesia in the near future. For those of you that are not that familiar, especially for some of my American friends that are watching this, this is a map of Indonesia. It's in Southeast Asia, tucked between the Pacific Ocean and the Indian Ocean, and you know, it's an archipelago nation of 17,000 islands, several hundred languages, different tribes, and it's quite a remarkable country in many ways. I brought this out, and I also brought out this interesting basket that some of my Maluku friends will recognize, because this is something that I bought on the island of Halmahera about 3 years ago. Where I spend a lot of my time in Indonesia is in what they call the Spice Islands of North Maluku. And in 2009, a very, very good friend of mine, Craig Harris, and I traveled out to North Maluku to attend an event on the island of Ternate with the Sultan of Ternate. And the event was called Legu Gam, and it was quite colorful and really, really entertaining for us as Americans to be there. We had heard some interesting stories there about some of the indigenous people that live in the jungle of Halmahera Island, just to the east of Ternate. And we heard a couple of stories in particular about some people who spent most of the year in the jungle hunting wild game and living a very, very old lifestyle that's been there for centuries. And we wanted to make an effort to go out there and try to visit these people. So we went out. We went to the little town of Tobelo, the capital of North Halmahera, and hopefully I'll be there this December meeting the Bupati in Tobelo, and also going over to Jailolo and meeting the Bupati there in Halmahera Barat. But in 2009, when we were out there, we went out to the little village called Labi Labi, and we met some of these people who still live this traditional life. And I actually bought this from a farmer who was coming back from the jungle with his big full load of coconuts and bananas, and wanted to bring it back to the U.S. to hold on to as kind of a reminder of our time in North Maluku. North Maluku is a very special place. It has a very rich history. It was the first destination of the European travelers 500 years ago. Actually 500 years ago this year, in the year 1512, was the first arrival of the Portuguese traders looking for spices. And that is how Indonesia, and specifically North Maluku, became originally settled. It was the first permanent European settlement in Indonesia, the island of Ternate. What I'm interested in doing in North Maluku is trying to find opportunities to bring American kids down to these Spice Islands to be able to start having direct personal relationships with the people in North Maluku. As you can see in the background here, Oregon beaches are quite beautiful. It's a typical cloudy day in Oregon here, but there are so many beautiful beaches and little islands in North Maluku, and we are looking for innovative cultural exchange programs to develop between the U.S. and specifically North Maluku. One of the things we really want to focus on is the ocean. The ocean is so beautiful in that part of Indonesia, and we feel that being able to have some fun activities in the ocean in North Maluku with surfing, scuba diving, swimming competitions, kayaking, stand-up paddle boards. There's so many wonderful activities to do centered on the ocean. And this is one of the easiest ways to get engaged with the local people there. The people in North Maluku are ready. They're ready to start hosting tourists from around the world that are interested in their culture, that are interested in learning about how their unusual local traditions have lasted for a long time, and for good reason. Both in Tobelo and in Jailolo, the last few years, there have been some annual traditional events that have taken place that have been trying to make a very, very serious effort to maintain tradition and to promote the beauty of the province. When I go to North Maluku this December, I will be looking for opportunity to have a discussion with tourism leaders, hopefully with the governor of North Maluku, and certainly with Bupati Namotemo in Tobelo and Pak Namto Roba in Jailolo. So what I'm trying to say today is that here we are in 2012. We are looking for opportunities for Americans and Indonesians to get to know each other a little bit better. North Maluku has a wonderful physical and cultural environment. It's much easier to travel there by airplane than it was a few years ago. And they just finished, 10 days ago, they finished a big event on the island of Morotai, which is adjacent to Halmahera, called Sail Morotai. The president of Indonesia was there with a number of other ministers, and it was quite an event. Talking about this history of the United States and Indonesia helping each other during World War II. Well, the war was seven decades ago, and now in the 21st century, it's a wonderful opportunity to have direct engagement between America, North Maluku, and we even have some plans to include some Japanese youngsters to come and visit the islands because of this difficult history during World War II. There's some great opportunities to get American kids, Japanese kids together, working with local North Maluku kids to promote the region. And that's really the focus of the conversation that I'll be having this coming December. So again, this is just a short little introduction. For my friends in North Maluku, I know you're probably surprised to see a bule in Oregon sitting next to this basket, but I have very good memories of North Maluku, and I'm looking forward to a lot of work in the future with people from there. So thank you very much for listening, and terima kasih banyak. Thank you.